Everyone's favorite football head is back.
This is incredible. Everyone's here.
Same lovable gang.
Oh, out of my way, hair boy!
On a whole new adventure.
My parents. Are they alive? I have to know. Come on. How do you feel about me?
Hey Arnold, the Jungle Movie premieres this Thanksgiving
Divine
on Nick
guidance.
Everywhere.
It's that gifted boy hit. Always on that present ish. Treat every day like a holiday. And I just got my settlement.
Jungle Movie, huh? Shit, how much time you got? I have to really preface this. Hey Arnold was my favorite cartoon for years. And the only reason it's still not is because BoJack Horseman exists now. So when the Jungle Movie got announced and dropped in 2017, I think I might have shit myself. In 98, Nickelodeon asked Craig Bartlett to make 2 Arnold movies. One for TV, one for theaters. They fucked with the TV one that they put together so much, they dropped that in theaters and told him to do a lead-in episode for the other movie, and they dropped that in theaters too. So they did. The series finale of Hey Arnold, The Journal from 2002, ends with a cliffhanger. After years of not knowing where they are and not knowing this nigga's last name, Arnold finds a map to where his parents might be.
Grandma! Grandpa! You have to see this! I found a map!
Fuck! In the mid-2010s, when Nickelodeon decided to milk some bread out of this nostalgia-ridden cesspool that we call our generation, the Jungle Movie was a no-brainer to come into existence. They did Zim and Rocco too. Rocco was kind of a bold choice, but that shit was the hardest one low-key, so fuck do I know. A year or two later into the future, Arnold finds out about a humanitarian competition that could send him and his classmates to San Lorenzo, where his parents disappeared. He enters by building a crib for Monkey Man that all the other homeless niggas violate.
Monkey Man!
Hey, Arnold, where are you going? That was my last chance to find my parents.
Damn, so fuck Monkey Man, huh? I mean, he deaf about to die, but yeah, sure. Parents. Helga leaps into action to help Arnold by using footage that she recorded. Apparently, she's been filming him the whole show. Yeah?
Whoa, that's Arnold's bedroom.
Hey, what the fuck? I still get teary-eyed during the video portion. It's like a really sweet short retrospective of the show, going over moments that are engraved in my brain, showing just how good of a kid Arnold is. It's really cool and satisfying to see some of these things reanimated.
He's a humanitarian, just like his parents, and the helpers for humanity.
Monkey Man!
Hey, Arnold, you're a bold kid and a true hero.
And it's around the 27-minute mark where this shit just starts to unravel before your very eyes into some wild fantasy type shit. I swear, before this, the weirdest thing about this cartoon was that this nigga's head was shaped like a football. They really end up chosen one-ing Arnold too, which they really didn't have to do. Like, the nigga made the contest specifically to find Arnold. The green-eyed people specifically prophesize Arnold. It's like written on the walls that he's supposed to pull up and save them. Like, where the fuck is all of this coming from? There are multiple deaths, including the villain. This nigga gets an arrow in his head, falls off a cliff, comes back, and falls off the fucking cliff again. Long live this nigga, I guess.
He died the way he lived, full of poison.
Whatever, bro. Like, he not the only one. At least Dino faked this death shit. Niggas just lazy, bro. Get up, you ain't dead. I do appreciate that though. This time around, they found a way to work the entire cast into the story, because that really is one of my main issues with the first movie. The plan Phoebe puts together around the middle, where they have to find a way to escape when they're captured, for example, is great, and a cool way to show everybody's personality and what they're good at. You get the grandparents, Helga's parents. It does a way better job understanding that the appeal of Hey Arnold is not just Arnold, it's everybody. There's a big arc with Arnold and Helga in this thing too that I think I mostly like. Both movies have plots where Helga helps Arnold, showing how much she cares, and I appreciate how in this one it's front and center instead of her doing these things in the background. I think the first version of the kiss scene that we get in the first movie is honestly better executed than what we got here. You know, even though it doesn't fucking mean anything, remember that? I think it's clever that both of these situations come from Arnold reflecting on something nice that Helga did for him, and just him grappling with trying to understand why.
You just risked everything to help me save the neighborhood. So, what's your point? That's a pretty amazing thing to do for someone who claims blame the hate.
Yeah, well, I'm a pretty amazing person, football head.
And points to the Jungle Movie for not having Arnold being forced into the kiss. But I do think that in the Jungle Movie, these moments are just kind of isolated. Helga confesses her love right before the movie gets into the meat of its plot. It's literally interrupted by the plot kicking in.
I love... There's a bull coming!
And Arnold confronts her about it after the movie pretty much already happened. They try not to let you forget about this thread of the plot by making them stare at each other for a little bit before they're about to die. But nah, I'm not jacking this. These niggas are like they off K2 big ass pupils.
I feel nothing.
Helga still has the same locket with Arnold's pilot design, which I think is very funny, especially since they definitely updated it as the show went on. I think her ripping it up and throwing it away is a little bit too melodramatic for my taste, but I really love the moment where she realizes that it's gone. Some great sound design and expression work.
Oh, Arnold, you magnificent specimen! I'm coming for you!
And I think Brainy saving it and giving it back to Helga later is really sweet, so it's definitely a net positive. See, I think the colors are great. They go for more muted tones on the characters for a lot of this, which I think is a really good choice. A lot of the environments are so gorgeous, especially in San Lorenzo. This shit is very pretty. Do I wish the colors were a little grimier to reflect the better looking episodes of the cartoon? Absolutely, but it's definitely better than the first movie. But I also don't think I'm a fan of how rounded these character designs are now. How an expression that would have looked super sharp and dynamic on Helga 20 years ago is just kind of softened, friendlier, and round. A bunch of this just kind of looks off to me, and I'm pretty sure it's because they're following different design philosophies than before. The worst crime though is definitely the CGI. This shit look like Crash Bandicoot. Nigga, this shit? What? Oh my god, I feel like I'm about to throw up just thinking about it. Whoa. Whatever, nigga. They float the timeline for this one. The kids are only like a year or two older, but it still takes place in 2017 instead of the late 90s or early 2000s, which is only really annoying if you think about it too hard. They do a great job showing how the new parts of our culture affect these kids and adults from 20 years ago. I love Big Bob being washed since nobody buys beepers anymore. I love Rhonda being the one who's always on her phone taking pictures of herself.
He helped me get over myself. Now I'm tolerant, gracious, and self-effacing. Oh, and humble. I'll get a copy of this, right?
I think my big issue with this movie is that for 2/3 of it, despite the music and characterization still being intact, it still feels like a different cartoon. All of these fantasy elements just do not do it for me. I feel like it's running away from made the cartoon so cool. Like, man, the first episode of this shit had them niggas jump on the city bus in fruit costumes. It's so frustrating to me that we'll never get a Hey Arnold movie that feels like a Hey Arnold movie the whole time. It's always like the first 20 minutes that feels right, and it's like they're insecure about the lower stakes of the show, trying to make it bigger than what it actually is, but I swear, you don't have to do that. If the first Hey Arnold movie was just them putting together Blockapalooza and saving the neighborhood, we have flying cars by now. And if the Jungle Movie was just Arnold and his class traveling to San Lorenzo, finding clues and picking up the pieces to find Arnold's parents, I own the damn flying car dealership. And it's not like it's just some, oh, they just came back later shit. You look at the test animation and concept art from when this was initially canceled, this is this movie. They made the version of the story, or at least something close to it, as we would have gotten it if the show didn't end. But I don't know if that makes me feel better. But at the same time, I think the real question is it even possible to watch this as a fan of Hey Arnold and not feel something? Is it possible to be attached to this kid and his story and not be overcome with emotion over some of this shit? I remember as a teenager, back when Doug Walker first started doing Disneycember, I remember him saying something about Snow White being a story fueled by emotion. We love plots now that make sense, that have through lines, that feel earned and rewarded, but Snow White doesn't have any of those things, yet we still love it because it's a narrative that goes in directions that would satisfy your emotions. Is that manipulative? Shit, probably, but so is every movie to a degree. But what about Jungle Movie? I mean, there's some of that plot stuff in here, but I think the way you feel about Arnold, his friends, his grandparents, that's what really drives how you react to this. That's what you'll walk away from this remembering. This watch, I went into it the most cynical I've ever gone into it. I threw it on last out of everything in this video, with the same headspace of, man, this is barely like the cartoon at a certain point. But you know what? Even after going in wanting to be objective and critical this time, I still felt the exact same emotions I felt in 2017. I still get goosebumps during the kid's video to Arnold. I still felt my face get hot when his parents woke up. I know some people think this is dumb or corny, but I'm sorry. This is such a powerful and well thought out moment.
Hey, Arnold.
Man, it's so good. I still have my issues, and I don't think they just disappear because I feel things. But I'm also so fascinated that it still makes me feel things, regardless of my long list of problems. And like, isn't that just kind of what this cartoon is? Isn't it just something that tells stories about how kids really feel, the real emotions, neglect, heartbreak, fear? If you're feeling something, is it not just Hey Arnold? Did they not do their job just because this doesn't take place in the neighborhood? And after all of this, is it even fair to look at this movie for what it's not instead of specifically focusing on what it is? I honestly have no idea, and I'm walking out of this a bit more open-ended than I usually like to be. But I do think I like The Jungle Movie. I do. I think I'm gonna step back and stamp that. It has a lot of things I like, a few things that make me roll my eyes, and a few things that move me to tears. And while enough time has definitely passed to where we can take the fan goggles off and truly just see how it measures up to the cartoon, I will forever be grateful, no matter how I or anybody else feels about it, that we actually got to see it. For better or for worse, this cartoon is complete. And how could you possibly hate that?
We'll be waiting right here.